In this video, I'm going to walk through how to install the official Jellybean firmware onto the Xperia S. A few weeks back, I posted a video on how to do the beta, and now the actual firmware is out. I'll walk through all the different scenarios for rooting, not rooting, as well as locked and unlocked bootloaders. And once the firmware for Jellybean comes out on other phones, such as the Ion or the TL or any of the other phones, the steps are all identical, so you can just follow the steps through here. If you're lucky enough to be in a region where the over-the-air update is already available and you have a locked bootloader, if you're already rooted, the quickest way of keeping root and going to Jellybean is to download the over-the-air Rootkeeper app. So install this app and it'll allow you to update over the air with your region's Jellybean while keeping root. If Jellybean hasn't been released for your region, you can follow the rest of this video and install the clean, unbranded Jellybean. So let's get started. As always, back up everything, all your data, all your contacts, all your apps, in case anything does go wrong. You have to have the drivers installed, so either through Update Service, PC Companion, or through the FlashTool. If you have Windows 8, then go check out the video on how to install drivers for Windows 8. Next up, you're going to need the FlashTool, as well as any FlashTool files if you aren't on the required build, as well as to fix any boot loops in case anything goes wrong. So the FlashTool can be downloaded directly on the website, and then the FlashTool files I'll show later. Next, you need to make sure your phone's charged, so you don't want your phone dying in the middle of flashing. You should be using USB 2.0 ports, not 3.0, because sometimes there'll be issues. Read all the instructions on all the threads, read the description, and then read them again, because I get a lot of obvious questions or questions I've answered in the description. Lastly, when you're commenting, you need to provide information. You can't just say it didn't work or something went wrong. You have to provide information so I can actually debug and help you. Okay, lastly, you can download the rooting toolkits if you're going to root, and recovery if you want recovery. So first up is the easiest and quickest way of getting Jellybean. All the links will be under A. I'm going to split them up into A, B, and C. So this works on any bootloader, and you can be running any software, any custom ROM, anything. You're just going to flash it directly onto your phone, and it's the easiest and quickest method, but obviously there's no root. So to start off, you're backing up all your data once again. You're downloading Jellybean, you're connecting your phone in flash mode, and then you're flashing Jellybean. And that's it, you're done. You have the official Jellybean on your phone, and that's the quickest and easiest way to do it. So to start off, using method A, again, this works on any phone. Doesn't matter what software you're running on the phone. I'm just going to shut this off and unplug it. Power off. On the computer, there's this very extensive guide on how to flash to Jellybean. That's everything step by step. Make sure you read it. Again, download the FlashTool, download Jellybean, and flash the phone. It really is that simple. So first up, you're going to download the firmware. And once you've downloaded it, you're going to put it into the firmware folder of the FlashTool. So there it is, Jellybean 62B0200 World. So this firmware is not customized. It doesn't have any apps from carriers. It doesn't have anything specific for any country or region. It is the cleanest Jellybean firmware you can get for the Xperia S. So once you've downloaded that and put it into the firmware folder, you're going to go into the FlashTool and run the FlashTool. Make sure you're running as administrator. Next up, you're going to click on Flash. You're going to choose Flash Mode. And then you're going to choose the Jellybean firmware, which is a 62B0200 World. And leave everything else. You can check No Final Verification and click OK. If you get an error here, such as preparing files, it means the file is corrupt and you have to download it again. And I'm just going to open up a stopwatch before I start this up. Put it off to the side. On your phone, you're going to hold the down button and plug it in. The light will turn green and it's in flash mode. So start the stopwatch. So it takes about 3 minutes to flash your phone, and once that's done, you can disconnect it and power it on. The first time it starts up, it's going to go through this setup process. That's normal, and so don't panic and just wait for it to complete. And once you've started it up, you've got the usual setup wizard. And there you go, you are now on Jellybean. 4.1.2 and 6.2.B.0.200. There you go. So everything does work in this ROM. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, data and everything. You're going to have to enter in your APN manually, so access point, and then enter in your information to get 3G data. And that's the quickest and simplest way to get Jellybean onto your Xperia S. However, it is not rooted. For the second part of this video, it's again for locked bootloaders, and this is if you want root. Unfortunately, as of June 2013, there's no direct method to root Jellybean, so you must be on Ice Cream Sandwich, you must be rooted, and you must have recovery installed. And then from that, you can install the pre-rooted Jellybean zip. As well, you can install recovery if you want recovery. So to start off, you need to be on Ice Cream Sandwich on a .4550 or 55 build. So this is 6.1.8.2.55 on Ice Cream Sandwich. If you don't already have this on your phone, use the FlashTool and flash your phone. So as stated in this thread, what you need is Ice Cream Sandwich installed, rooted, and with recovery. If you don't have it, you can download the FlashToolFile for flashing, go to the root tool, and then recovery. So first up, if you use the flash tool in flash mode and flash your phone to 61A255. Not going to go through this because I just flashed the phone. Next up, you're going to have to root the phone. Unfortunately, Binary's root tool doesn't work, but it does have a specific line here for the Xperia S 255. Go to this thread, and this is a Chinese rooting tool. So download this, and you're going to run it. As with all rooting toolkits, the first thing you need to do is go into Options, go down to Developer Options, turn on USB Debugging, go back, go into Security, and turn on Unknown Sources. So once you've done that, you can go back to the computer. So back on the computer, follow the instructions in the thread. So USB Debugging, Unknown Sources, and then just root. So there's the toolkit, and I've extracted it into this folder, and you're just going to run it. it's going to download something quickly, depending on your internet connection. And once that's done, you can just click on root. And that's it. Back on the phone. If you go into your app drawer, you should now see Super User. So the phone should now be rooted. You can just close the tool. The next step is to install recovery. So I'm just gonna see. So once again, download recovery for locked bootloaders and follow the instructions. Download the zip, extract, and click to install. And just double click to run it. And that's it. It just takes a few seconds. So now on your phone, you're going to want to copy over the pre-rooted zip. So the pre-rooted Jellybean zip, and just copy it over to your phone. So there it is. So once you've done that, you can go onto the phone and reboot into recovery. Unplug the phone, turn it off, and turn it on. When you see the Sony logo, just tap it a few times and then that'll take you into recovery. So there it is. I'm just going to zoom in because it is really small. And the camera will focus. Okay, there we go. So like it says in the instructions, you're going to wipe everything. Go into Mountain Storage. You're going to have to use the home button. And just wipe everything. So wipe your cache. Then wipe system. And then wipe data. So once you've done that, just use the back button. Go down to install zip from SD card. And then choose zip from SD card. Go down to wherever you put the pre-rooted zip. So there's Jellybean. And then click on install. It's going to take about 4 or 5 minutes. And once that's complete, you just go back and reboot the phone. So hit back, and that first option is just reboot now. Kind of hard to see. So it takes about 3 minutes to boot up the first time. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of languages. And you are now in Jellybean. Go into settings, down to phone. It's 62b.0.200, 4.1.2. And on this clean install, there is 1.7 gigs free, and there's 352 megs of RAM free, 340 megs used. And that's how you get the pre-rooted Jellybean onto your phone if you have a locked bootloader. There's Super User. So at this point, if you want recovery, you're going to have to install it. And if you have an unlocked bootloader, you can install different kernels. So that's what C is for. Again, go into developer options. You have to turn it on this time. And then turn on USB debugging. Go to security again. And turn on unknown sources. And then plug in your phone. As it says in the guide, you can now install recovery. So go to recovery for locked bootloaders for Jellybean, and then this time you're going to download it, same thing, and then just run it. So here it is, I've extracted it, CWM for locked Jellybean, and then just run it. So once again, USB drivers, rooted, BusyBox, unknown sources, and USB debugging. And then make sure your phone is on, because when you press enter on your, start this process, it's going to pop up Super User on the phone. So just make sure that's on and unlocked. So we're going to click OK, or sorry, hit enter. It's connecting. And you're going to get a Super User pop up. And make sure you click grant before the time runs out. And there it is. Recovery has been installed. Okay. If you want to test it out, you can unplug it, turn off the phone, hold the power button, turn it back on. The first time you restart the phone after installing Jellybean, it's going to go through setup again. When the light turned blue, press any of the buttons to get into recovery. And there you go. So that's how you get pre-rooted, the pre-rooted Jellybean plus recovery on a locked bootloader. In this last section of the video, this is for unlocked bootloaders only, and it's the C links in the description. I assume you're already rooted with recovery on a .55 firmware because you've got an unlocked bootloader, so why aren't you running the latest software, and why aren't you rooted if you have an unlocked bootloader? All the steps are the same. You're backing up your data and you're flashing the pre-rooted Jellybean zip, but the last part is different because you have an unlocked bootloader. You can go into Fastboot Mode and flash either the stock kernel or an advanced kernel. So I'm just going to walk through that quickly. So right here on the ROM page, you can either download an advanced kernel or you can download the stock kernel. So this is the stock kernel. For Jellybean. And then this is Doomlord's advanced kernel. So version 3. Right there. So download those files and extract the ELF files to wherever you want to flash. So there's the advanced kernel and there's the stock Jellybean kernel. Once again, go into the Flash tool. And this time you're going to connect in Fastboot mode. So Flash and choose Fastboot mode. On the phone, you're going to power off. And you're going to hold the up button to connect in Fastboot mode. So instead of going green, the light will turn blue. And again, this is only for unlocked bootloaders. Back on the computer, you can click Check Device Status. It's in Fastboot mode. And you're going to choose Select Kernel to Flash. Just go to wherever you save the files, and you're either flashing the advanced kernel or the stock Jellybean kernel. And that's it. It only takes a few seconds. And you're done. So once you finish flashing the kernel, just unplug the phone. Hold the power button to turn it on. And in this example, I flashed Doomlord's advanced kernel, but you can flash any kernel you want. When you see the blue LED, press any button, and that'll take you into recovery. And there you go. So that's how you flash Jellybean on the Xperia S while keeping root, even if you have a locked bootloader. I'll update the description once other FTF files come online for other devices, and as well as other rooting methods for other phones. So this is the Xperia P, and on XDA they'll release instructions for other devices. Once again, thanks for watching and subscribing.